G'day and welcome, of course, to this video. We're returning to motorcycles. We're going to have a look at this 250 Suzuki, also the Honda 354 and the 750 as well. And I do have to do a repair on the mower, which I'll put at the end of the video. Anyway, look, hope you enjoy. The last thing I got was this, one of the last things, this seat cover for the 350. It's a pretty good cover. It came with a strap, although I've put it away somewhere, so I've got to find that. But at the moment, I've got to try and repair the foam that's in there. It's pretty messed up. Like, they get flaky, so I just bought some of this foam. Absolute rip-off. $100 for the foam in that can. Like, but it's the right adhesive. I'm just going to put this thing back together. Oops. And I'll lay the foam underneath it because it's got these holes you can sort of see through. So I'll clean that up. I've just thrown a bit of glue on there, and I'll just let that set. This sprays the right stuff. It's good stuff, but they charge $50 a can, which is just ridiculous. Last time I got this, I got it at Burson for $17. Yeah, I think this is completely wrong, this stuff. Actually, I think I've screwed up. The glue's right, but the adhesive, the adhesive's right, but the foam's wrong. It might look worse, actually. What if I just put this on the base? Yeah, it does sit taller because, actually I don't want this to get glue residue on it. I'm just going to stretch that over. Just a minute, I might take that off or turn it upside down just so I don't get muck all over it. And then I might wrap a wire in there to, yeah, I don't want to put any more on. I think that'll be alright. I think that's going to turn out. These are the brackets for the straps. I'm just going to clean them out, just so I know when I come to put them on. But I think it's a Phillips head screw that sits on there, that it's going to go straight in and not bind or carry on. The bike's lovely, and it's just that rear brake rod that I've got to locate. I can't find one in the country. I can get one ex-US, but eBay's global shipping charges, I think, $80 American to get a brake rod here from the States, which is, you know, normally I'll pay the price, but that's just ridiculous. I don't think that's going to be a problem, but this here, I might actually just undo the front and repack around there, just to get rid of those creases. Also came with that strap, and I've got all the bike stuff. There's actually a step in the foam. I don't know where it is, I can't remember. And that sort of, they've given you ample there. I think it just loops around underneath the chrome trim, and that can be nice and tight, and that'll also give it a more sort of authentic appearance. Right, well, I wasn't happy with the seat. You know, sometimes when you kind of look at something, you think, oh, it'll be all right, and you kind of talk yourself into liking it. It was a bit like that, so I gave it to Jason Hill. He retrimmed it, and of course, everything he touches turns to gold. He got rid of all those puckering sort of marks here, and also all around in that area there, and put the strap on for me as well, so I'm really, really happy. Well, I thought I'd dig this old thing out, and it's filthy. It's absolutely revolting. But I do want to get it rideable. So we started it, we ran it. It runs quite well. The chrome's a bit dicky. I was always planning I might get another guard for it at the front here. I could paint it, I suppose, but it's a nice bike. It's a lovely, lovely bike. And I'm just a bit worried because it's been sitting out here and there's like surface rust coming up on the spokes, and I don't like that, so I'm going to have to clean all that off. Harvey redid the instruments and it's filthy, it needs a good wash. So we've got to put the brakes together, and I've never seen it with the disc on it or with the brakes on it. It was sort of in bits when I got it. I'm going to rebuild the calipers for the Suzuki. There's the master, which we talked about before, in that box. Very pleased with this. It's aftermarket. It looked chintzy, but it's a proper billet aluminium lid and all that sort of stuff, so I really like that. I'm very impressed with it. I'll keep that. One half of the caliper, there's a little badge that goes there, which I will use urethane for. Now, this is a T250. It's meant to have twin leading shoe brakes on the front, and it hasn't. It's got discs from a GT250. They've been retrofitted, so they are the earlier type. There's two types of disc brake fittings, or disc brakes that go on the GT250. Caliper overhaul kit, set of pads. I'm keeping the old steel line. It's a bit bent, but what do you do? The old brake lines, it's a split brake line for the front. There's nothing really wrong with that, although it doesn't look too flush in the end there. It's a bit corroded. I've had a pair made up, compared to new brakes in Ringwood, and perfect. So that will suffice. The first thing I want to do, actually, I've got to wash this out. I've washed that out with brake clean. The piston, I need to wash this out, wash it off. It'll have some sort of anti-corrosion agent on it, if I'm able to unwrap the blasted thing. Hang on a minute, here we go. There it is there. Put the rubbish in there, that's fine. The old piston is not usable, or at least I don't want to use it, just because it looks pretty mangy, but I have got a set of calipers here, which I'm going to check out. There we go, there's some resistance there. And I'm just going to go around the top on this because I don't want it in the sealed area. That's identical, which is perfect. Right, so there's just old crap in there. I'm just going to wash that off with brake clean. I'll be back. Of course, we have a lint-free clean rag. Right, so this stuff's all from eBay. I originally got pissed off with this whole thing. Oh, it's got its own grease. Red rubber assembly grease. Normally, I prefer to use castor oil based stuff, which is made for brakes. Righto, let's have a bit of a sticky in here. This plastic's fairly tough. I don't want to damage any of the components within. Right, that's the important part. That has to fit in there. I'm just going to stick some around the seal. Feed the seal in. Put my finger over it, it's square cut, and in like this. Now, many people, some people maybe, will tell you can't use rubber grease on calipers, which is absolute BS. You can. Some people prefer to use brake fluid. I don't find brake fluid is a good enough lubricant. Just got a suggestion of it in there because I just don't. Now this guy is going to go that way and it fits. This is different. Hang on a minute. Maybe we'll put a bit of this on here, eh? Yeah, I don't think brake fluid is a good enough lubricant. It just doesn't feel like a lubricant. It feels like brake fluid. Now when I do cars, which is mainly what I do, that will fit into a secondary slot. This blasted thing hasn't got one. Where the hell is it? Hang on, we're just going to push it into there, like that, and then square up the piston and push it home. But that does not look right. Bloody hell. Right, so that actually was a bit of a pain. I couldn't find anything on how to fit that seal. There was no rebate for it. I found one video on YouTube, a guy doing a 380, and he just stuffed it in to the hole around the edge. That still... Oh, my daughter's calling. Just a moment. Right, so my daughter called and I forgot to detail what the problem with this was. There's a steel ring that fits in there I hadn't seen, and the seal fits around the steel ring, if that makes any sense. Right. Just had some lunch. Okay, so what I've done, I've got these bits here, and I cleaned up the bolts. Now, I just used Scotch-Brite. I put these in a drawer, clean them all up, and just threw some clear over them. So they should be, yes, they're dry. I also did the banjo bolt. The banjo bolt's chrome, but there was a little bit of rust on it, so I cleaned all that up. How do these go? I haven't got a manual. I'm tipping that goes that way. No. Yes, it goes like that. So, what we need to do, get some pads. How do you get these open? Yep. Hopefully these are right. I never actually checked them. There's one with a hole in it that marries up with that one. This one has a little V taken out of it, which I'm assuming goes this way. Hello, Lana.
She's awake now.
Oh, is she?
She's still a bit. She was like,
Yeah, a little bit groggy. Now, hang on a sec. What do we got here? Rubbers.
you did a very long thing. Good girl.
And I think I'm going to use the other grease that they gave us. How do they go? I'm sure they go over these. These look too small. They look far too small. Does that look right to you? Maybe they are. I don't know. Where are the old ones? Let's have a look at the old ones. They look a bit too small to me. They look like they'll eventually split. I do have to grease them up. Where's the old ones? Here. I think they've just given us generic ones. Oh, maybe not. Look, they're shrinking. Yeah, should be right. Right, so I'm going to use this stuff here. Yeah, that's the stuff. Now, this is not going to be easy. Okay. I reckon it's going to fly through the other side. I reckon we just go from both sides, actually. And then the boots will fill up with it. And stick some over the shank of the boat. I'm going to put some O-rings on there too. And put some slip on there. I don't want to tear these. They'll be quite ginger with them, so that's there. So, does it go like that? I can't remember which way I had it. Nope, it goes like that, I'm sure. Yep, and then the deeper part goes in there. Let me just double check. Maybe it goes like that. It does, it goes that way. Alright, sweet. So what we're going to do now is, that can go there, that can go on the bottom of that. We've just got to get the slides working. I've got to, this is good because they gave us copper washers too. So what have we got? We've got a nipple. That can go on there. I have got the old nipple. That can just sit over there like that. And we've got 4 O-rings and 2 copper washers. And that should go in there. There we go. So that should rotate in and then come out there, which it does. Oops. There we go. Now I'm just going to clean that lube off there, because that has to screw into there and I need to Loctite it, so I'm just going to wipe that off with a bit of brake clean. Get rid of the vacuum in there, push these boots down. It'd be really handy if I knew what the hell I was doing. Okay, I think I'm on the right track. I think there's a pin or something that holds this in. Was it a bolt or something? I'm not sure. Anyway, look, that should go there. Hang on, I'm just going to screw these in. And then I'm just going to sit it on the bike and see if it fits properly. But I think that's about right there. And I'll just tighten them later when it's mounted. Just want to see if it fits first. I've got to put a bracket actually for the brake line. There's the caliper. I'll show you the rebuilding of that. But I did get some brake lights made up. Oh, yeah, there's this thing. I never knew what that was. But I believe, I don't know why it's got that round bit on it, but I believe that goes like that behind the fork, and that's where the rubber line attaches. Anyway, I'm going to pull it off, or put it on, sorry, and see how I go. I thought I'd pop out the front wheel. I'm on the deck in my socks. And, well, one, to clean it up, and two, to put this in, but I cross-threaded that when I was trying to do it with the wheel in situ, so I just thought, yeah, you know what, stuff it, I'll just take this off and have a go at starting that. I think that's right. Oh, I'm sorry, I just kneecapped it. Oh, I've done it again. I don't recognise that, but it was in a box, but it's the only thing that puts that adapter in the right spot. Clear. Okay, that should do. I'm just going to run a rag over this, and then I can pop the wheel in. I've also got to check the wheel bearings, because one of the bikes, and I don't know which one it is, the bearings weren't right. They just didn't feel right. Just wipe all this off. I've got to give it another good clean up. I'll put those struts back on, and I'll have to it just looks a bit rough, this old thing. Hello, Doogie. Oh, the light's terrible. Here's our rebuilt caliper. Looks absolutely lovely. I've just glued that on with a bit of urethane. I've got a 1/4-inch drive extension holding the pads in the right location, and that can just slip over the disc rotor, and the 1/4-inch drive extension will withdraw as easily as that. Now, these aren't the right fasteners for it. I haven't got the correct ones. These are going to be fine for wheeling the bike around. And the other thing I've done is I ran around the rims. When I had the wheel off, I ran around the rims with this 0000 or 40 steel wool, if you can see this. And they come out like new. Absolutely beautiful. This bike does need to be indoors. It's been sitting on this back porch for probably 18 months, 2 years, I don't know. But that's no place for a bike like this. So that is going to look splendid, I reckon. It looks good. I can't find my decent 10mm spanner, but this will have to do for now. Now this is sort of temporary. Well, it's a permanent fixture, but these bolts here are wrong, as I said before, and there's no lock nut in there. I didn't want to chafe up the fork leg just while I'm using this to move it around. Which should be enough. Now, these are the old brake lines, a split brake line, and it's secured under the headline. I had the new ones made up, of course. There's a flare in there as well, so that grommet has to sit in. Then this has to go on, be tightened up, and then clamped under there. One side to the master and the other side to the caliper. Whoops, over here. So, I'll try and scissor these together, by doing that sort of thing. And it's just, there's no strength required in doing this. It just It's the safest way of doing it because you're just squeezing them together like that. You're not going to slip off and hurt yourself by doing anything funny. That's about it there, I would think. This goes, oops, under there, ties in there. I haven't got the grommet though to fit. Is that an internal flare on it? Yep. I haven't got the grommet to fit around this bracket that I stuck in yesterday. That's what I need to hold that. I just want to, so I know which way to tighten that. I just want to get this right because at the moment it's wrong. So just give me 2 secs. So that goes there. Probably in about there. No, that actually would have been better being left straight. Maybe underneath that clutch cable. Oopsie. Underneath it, like that, I think. I can turn that around. No, that's just not doing what I want it to. Maybe I'm going to have to come up through the center. I just want it to have a nice, do you know what I mean, radius. So look down there, I've left that loose. So this can be rotated. Let's nip this up and just get on it and just make sure it's roughly in the area I want it. So that way I can sort of determine what's the best, most natural run for that line. I haven't got a seat on here at the moment. But yeah, I'll let that down. I don't think I can though. What's in the way? Something's in the way. The handlebars themselves in the way. Maybe I'll have to bring the clutch one up a bit. But that is about, that's about where it needs to be. Okay. I can't get it any lower anyway. So, I can't do any better than that. Right, this is the disadvantage of being me and getting bored with stuff prematurely. I've got, I think, 3 or 4 bikes on the go. Hang on, I've got the 250 Suzuki, 2 350 Hondas and 750. There are 4 bikes on the go. Now, one of the 350s I call a custom or a special. And I wanted to sort of customize it to suit myself. I didn't want to do a stock build that's normally what I do. So I wanted a 350 twin leading front shoe brake. Because I think they look cool. And in doing that, well, a guy gave me 350F forks, but they're both the same side, so they're no good. I did order the legs for a twin. This is the early type of leg, which is fortunate because I didn't know there was a difference. Some of them have an external spring, and some of them have a stay, a stopper arm, which goes, I've got that the wrong way, have I? Oh no, that's the way it goes. Which goes from here to the second hole, like that, as it sits there. Now, I have got the axle somewhere for this, which is in here, so I know it all fits. And the guy that pulled this apart did an amazing job, so I'm really happy with that, and I can spoke it and stick it on a new rim and all that sort of stuff. So that's all good. Just going to make sure I don't put it on top of stuff that's not supposed to be put on top of. Right, now, one of these, I can hydroblast those. I'm not going to go for a polished look, I just want a satin, just a flat silver look like it's painted. Of course, hydroblasting will give you that. This has been damaged here, so I've got to go and see an engineering place to get the cooling pins on that engine fixed up because they're broken in a couple of places and I hate that look. That one, of course, is alright. So once I get that back, I'll send them off, get them hydroblasted, and I'll come back and schmick. I don't know if I can retrofit those sorts of stanchions in. I don't know if you can. Can you see over here? Just a minute. I don't think I can fit those stanchions in. There's a good chance these will need replacement, although they're clean down there. They might be alright. Whatever the case, they're going to be fine for mock-ups. So that's that. I did the speedo combined with the headlights. Got a police speedo and this sort of stuff, and you know, I'm using a different type of fuel tank, and I bought those vintage type badges, and that's the battle out of the sun. And of course, everything's been zinc plated and it looks really nice. But I sort of stopped on those bikes because I got bored with them and went and did something else. The problem I'm having with this Suzuki is the banjo bolt. This seems unrelated, but I'm getting to that. The banjo bolt's a 10 by 1 thread, yeah? Now Honda always use 10 by 1.25. So 10 125s are on all the banjo bolts associated with CB350s, 750s, that sort of thing. This is no good because the aftermarket brake cylinder I got is also 10 125. So I went down to the brake place before. I know a bloke down there, but he was closed. It's Saturday. So I'm going through my 750 stuff because I'm not ready to finish that bike. And lo and behold, I can't find the banjo bolts because they're in another box. I don't know where it is. I did. It's good that I've done this though because that's the new brake line I had made up for the 750. And because the 750 is American, it's a K8, which never came to Australia. We got K7s, but not 8s. They have to be engineered, and in being engineered, they always look for the Australian, what do you call it? The number, the SAE number. So that's all done for the 750. It's a one-piece hose. There's no join at the headstock. It just goes straight from the master down to the steel part into the caliper. I haven't got the caliper or the master for that bike yet. It came with a master that was so seized. I had it soaking for a couple of months and it still didn't free up. So it's destined for the waste paper or the waste bin. So I am at a bit of a loss because I need to find this other box with the right parts in it and I can't find it. Right, here is our seat for our 750. It looks lovely, but it does look better than it is. It's nice and firm. The strap's rubbish on it. It's stretchy. I would not put a pillion on that. Hang on to that. I reckon it'd come off. But at the end of the day, it does look the goods. It's got the fasteners for the hinges and the catch as well. It doesn't have the little trapdoor. Oh, I wonder if I can fit the trapdoor to it for the documents that went in the bottom. I'll put these fittings on. I've got to and also the other thing I've got is the original chrome trim that runs around the base of it, or stainless trim that goes like that and it fits quite well. I will put that on, but not until I've tried it on the bike to make sure everything fits. If I go to put this on and it doesn't fit, well, you know, I don't want to start drilling into it and finding out that I can't use it. Well, that doesn't fit there because the bolt. I'm going to take a punt and put that like that. I could be wrong. It doesn't matter if I'm wrong, because if I am wrong, I'll just do it again. And I might have to tighten this, but this has a little bit of side movement in it. Put the original Honda fasteners on. And I'll have to find the grommets for this because I put that catch together. That should face whatever way. I'll have a look on the bike. But there's some, like, maybe that goes the other way. I think that goes the other way. But there's some rubber components which go into it. So you can set the height of the pin as well, which seems to be stuck, but we'll have a look at that. I'm not worried about that for now. I just want to see if this thing fits on the bike. Anyway, we'll go and have a look now and see how it comes up. I've just dug this out of the old seat frame, just a grommet. Oh, they're punched out. I didn't realise that. I'm sort of keen to put everything back that's supposed to be there. And you just catch. Perfect. That's much better. Alright, We're going to see if it fits properly. Well, it will. I know that. I've also got the clevis pins and a couple of splitties. I don't know where the other clevis is. I've just got a message too. I reckon the golden rule of restoration with this bike. So it's all been rebuilt. Everything's been replated and rebuilt and all this sort of stuff and put together. The engine, the gearbox, all the fasteners, everything. And I've even used the JRS fasteners, the original ones, because I like that look. Now, this seat, theoretically speaking, I could have rebuilt the old seat. It would have been cutting a bit of rust out of it, this sort of stuff. But I've broken the golden rule. Most people, when they talk about restoring stuff, they kind of just wheel their ass down to Rare Spares and get a whole lot of stuff and just bolt on all this aftermarket business, which I don't like doing. And I've done that sort of thing with the seat, although it wasn't Rare Spares. It was a supplier in Vietnam. But I don't know. This bike's a lovely bike, but it does need. It's been very involved, much more involved than I thought it would be. And I was kind of ready with the other ones. I don't know if you can just see my shoulder, can you? The other bikes have been much easier. I did this one first. Of course, I'm frustrating to watch because everyone goes, "Oh, where are you up to with this?" And I'm doing something else, you know, and it's hard for them to watch. But come on, you bugger, get in there. But you know, I've got to the point now where I just want to finish the thing. I've got 3 bikes virtually finished, but we're not riding them. And this is one of them, although this needs a lot more than the other 2. The Suzuki's pretty much done now. I've just got to get that banjo bolt and it's rideable. The Honda, I've got a chain. I think I need a set of sprockets for it. And something else, I can't remember. But it's just stupid things, you know. Come on, you son of a gun, get in there. Now, I haven't got the, is it going to look down? Oh, look at that. Look at that. How freaking lovely is that? Even though that strap's crap. I don't like it. I have got the original strap, which I might put on, because they might knock that back on roadworthy. I don't know. But I've just got to put these washers and splitties in, and that's done. But yeah, I always intend to use the original stuff. Now this old bloke, this was a cafe racer. Look how dirty it is. How neglected it is. It looked brand new when I finished it. This was a cafe racer. In fact, it was originally just like that, but red. And the bloke that bought it, a policeman bought it, he made it into a cafe racer. And I went round to get the original kit for it to get it original. So I've had to weld on things like the, you know, the, what's that thing called? The seat lock and the tabs, all these things had to be all re-welded in. You know, all the brackets for the airbox, all had to be welded in. It's even got a toolkit. So, I just love original stuff, you know. But that was what was behind that. Right, that looks good. There must have been a wiring problem. I've left that unhooked, but at the end of the day, it's on. That looks great. So, that's one other job I don't have to do. You must excuse the state of this bike. It did look brand new. No, it doesn't. So we've gone with Delcavic headers, not because they're the best, but because they're available and they're the cheapest. There's a lot of 4x2 stuff available ex-US. Extremely dear. These came in at $350 or something. And look, 4x1 is not what I wanted, but it'll do. I do want to get 4x4 for that thing. I kind of like those sidewinders that are on that, but I might use them on that project bike. So I'm going to unwrap these and have a look. The instructions are really, really good in terms of, hang on, I'm just going to take that first page because that's got my address and everything, what it consists of and exactly how to fit them. Things were packaged brilliantly. They come with a set of gaskets. They're all numbered. The collector's numbered as to which pipes go where. And each of the headers is numbered as well. My only gripe with them is that, you know, because of those spring fittings, you can't slide those modern collars off and use the original ones, but that doesn't matter. It's a small price to pay. So it says in the instructions to attach 1 and 4 loosely and then fit the collector. So I'll just pop this old original arrangement off. There we go. And I think I put new gaskets in here. I did. I saw it on the other side. Probably should have just left them there. These ones probably seal better. I don't know. But it says use a dab of silicone to stop them moving around, falling out. Because they're going to fall out. But what we're going to do is put our finger there and just do that. I don't like, well, silicone's perfect on exhaust, right? But if you need to take it off with those gaskets, it'll just stick and then you can never reuse it. Where's the other bolt? Nut. What do I do with it? Stress. Oh, that's not very handy. Did it fall in there? Oh, it's still in the socket. Alright. Now we just got to put the collector, which is there. Oh, that's pretty simple. So that's one. Hang on. Which is which? That's one over there, isn't it? So 1 and 4. So they just go like that. I got spooked into thinking, oh, maybe those pipes weren't going in long enough. So I might put a bit of CRC on here. And at least now it can be started and run properly. I had those temporary pipes on it and they weren't very good. They're a means to an end, but I should have bought a muffler for it. I only bought the headers because I thought, oh, I'll just get the muffler after, but it would have been cheaper and more sensible to get it when I got these. Oopsie. Now I'm just going to whack a bit of slip on the, just on the bottom where the collector is. Just to make sure it's going in at the same rate as the others. They say mechanics feel with their hands. It's true to a certain extent because I couldn't see what the hell I was doing. Okay. I just want to see these springs underneath, make sure they're all uniform length, because the others were actually quite challenging to get on. Oops. This isn't easy either. This is the hardest one I've done so far, probably because it's the last. There we go. Just leave it sort of loose. And just get under and have a look at this collector. Well, I'm happy with that. It tightened up in a very uniform way. It's tidy. We haven't got the muffler, we talked about that. Bit more to do on this bike before we finish it. But well on the way with those new headers and that lovely seat, which I've already marked up. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. It's looking really good. Oh, we've got to get a caliper. So here, what do we have to do with this? We've got to get a caliper for it. I've got the brake line, clutch cable, master cylinder, a chain and sprocket set. It hasn't got that. And I think, oh, and a set of side covers. Yeah, because the it hasn't got the chain and sprocket on it. But it's nearly there, you know, it's very nearly there. Well, someone's a fool. It actually came with a bit of silicone for the exhaust. Not good. Well, it's great, but not good on my part. So that's looking wonderful as well. The only disconcerting thing is they're dirty. And not just dirty, but also, you know, surface rust like that. These shocks are new. I replaced them on the bike some time ago as I started doing it. And they're spoiled, you know. We can clean up some of the chrome with the steel wool. This is too far gone, right? And that'll clean up well, that bit there. Let's have a look. See, that comes up beautifully. I don't know if you can see it on the camera though. But, oops, some of it won't. Like that's nigh on perfect. But when you get onto here, you can normally tell, you know, that's not doing what it's supposed to do. I don't know if the camera was in focus there, but you know, as disconcerting as that is, that's what you get when you keep them out here in a damp environment. So I'll just have to pack them in a big box of silica gel or something. But anyway, look, that most of it will come up. It'll still look very presentable. I've got to put that side cover on and the chain and everything, but aside from that, this bike's finished. And that brings us back to this guy. So there's no reason I can't be riding this very, very soon. Just a banjo bolt, bleed the front brakes, and there is an electrical issue. I had that side cover off. They don't have a regulator on these things, and they just charge about 16 or 17 volts and rely on the battery as part of their sort of regulation system, if you know what I mean. So I fitted a cheap one, but I'm not sure it's powerful enough. So that's why there's wires and stuff hanging out down there. But that's looking very, very nice. Eventually I might find a mudguard for it, I don't know. But those three bikes that we've been looking at are very, very close to being ridden. I still have to do work on the house, the backyard's still a mess. I'm still digging trenches and all this sort of stuff, but it's good to get away from that and get back to this stuff. I was going to redo all this deck as well because it's filthy since we had the flooding. But anyway, look, I'll leave it there for the bikes. There's a bit of work I did on the mower. That one behind, just made out of spare bits of rubbish that I had, and it's been playing up. So we'll have a quick look at that and see how we go. Right, so one of the jobs I've got to do here is this deck. It's terribly dirty. Since we've had all the rain and all the muck coming from next door, I really need to clean this off and re-oil it. But for now, I've got a problem with this mower. Now, some time ago, I restored 7 mowers. 8 mowers, including this one, which wasn't really restored. This was just sort of fixed up. Now, one of them belonged to the bloke next door's father, and that guy next door is about 84 now, so I gave that to him. He sort of saw it and got kind of whimsical. It was a keepsake from his father, so I gave that back to him. And the other one, of course, to the wonderful Elsmere Wirewood, Harvey, who is the instrumentation specialist that's done nothing but support me from the get-go. So I gave him the utility, which was one of the ones that didn't start, but he did get it going. It was a rebuilt engine, but obviously something was amiss. Anyway, he sorted that out. So, problem I got with this, these things are reliable as they come, but this thing keeps not starting, and I keep having to whip the top off and clean the points. I think there's something wrong with the condenser, or the points, or something. Not really sure what it is, not going to bother investigating it, because I'm going to fit one of these. It's just a little electronic ignition kit, replaces the points and condenser, 23 bucks, off eBay. As soon as this was delivered, they went down to 16 bucks. Or 17, depending on where you buy them. So I'm going to put this in. Right, so this mower was made with all the leftover parts. It had the worst top on it. It's got a little crack there. I think I glued it from behind. Whatever leftover stickers were there, you know, it was just the worst of the stuff. I had the worst muffler, the worst this, the worst that. Which is probably the reason why it's the worst reliable mower. But I don't want to start the new ones or bring the new ones out. I just prefer to leave them as new ones in the garage as sort of display pieces. That's kind of bad. I left the fuel on. Anyway, not to worry. And true to its crummy self, it has 7/16 and 3/8 bolts securing it. So we've got a 3/8 there, 7/16 there. Now whenever I stop using one of these, I always turn the fuel off and let it run out. This one I forgot because it just quit on the nature strip and wouldn't start, so then I just went in and grabbed the whippersnipper and did the rest of the lawn with the whippersnipper on the nature strip. So that's the reason it was still on. And never unreliable, they're always perfect, so it's very unusual for this to happen. But we are going to sort it out. Can I lift that off? Sometimes these are difficult to get off, but that one wasn't. So it's just a case of muck getting in here. It's not normally a problem on these. It's quite disconcerting that it's doing this. But anyhow, if I just grab the flywheel to see roughly where we can put it, I think it's going to sit quite well. Whoops. About there. I would think. Is that the best place to put it, do you reckon? Should be right. Comes with a little screw too. So the kit's good. 2 lengths of wire. It's got a little pigtail wire up there. It's got a bullet terminal on. I don't know why. And I also need to put in a switch, which I never got around to doing before. I'm just sort of earthing that out, which is ridiculous. That's probably not helped it overall, but I'm not too worried. So there. Just pop the hole. That's my problems. Right. Ugh. Come here, you. Oops. And hopefully, this lasts till I'm a very old man. But yeah, come back. I should have centre punched it. Right, well that other screw was rubbish. So these old mowers have a way of shaking your teeth out. So I'm just going to pop a little Loctite on the thread, and I'll follow it up with a nut. Right. I don't use my ignition spanners very often, but when I do, they're handy. Rightio, so let's take this off again. Have a look and see what we've got in here. So this has to be the other end of the coil, so it just connects onto there. So when it's earthed out, the thing quits, but it's that lead out of the coil. Afternoon sun's hitting us, so hopefully you can still see. I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to cut that bullet terminal off. I'm going to cut that mangy end off. I'm going to cut that off. That's that wire. And I'm going to cut the coil wire off. And so I'm going to join those two. It's going to give us a bit more lead there. Hang on a minute. I can get my finger into there. And we'll just join those up. These two. And then we can join these up onto a switch. There we go. Oh, I think I'll burn myself. Come on, don't burn yourself. There we go. Lovely. So that part of the equation is now sorted. I'll just pull that wire down. I was going to give it a bit of slack, leave a bit of slack there for it. So it's earthing, and the triggering is being controlled by the module. So I've got this, what do you call it? Switch from the Galaxy I had on a piece of old metal rubbish. And we don't want on, we want it off. So the little dimple there that sits like that to signify when it's got contact, it's actually the other way around. So can we just break it off? Yes, I think we can. So on is going to be down, off is going to be up. It looks a bit weird because we've got the running upside down. Look, I don't think it matters much. It's just like a PowerPoint in a house where up is off, down is on. So I'm just going to tighten this up. And that will sit underneath there. If I can get it, I might have to go sideways actually. Right, so we just joined everything up. Solder this up and we should be out of here. We should have sparks and all sorts of stuff. Now I haven't bothered trying to fix the switch up in the handle. Its wire is there. I think they go into the carburetor. There's two little prongs. I don't care for that. I'd sooner just have a nice toggle switch. Oops. And it's more reliable, better. Let's give that a go, eh? We'll turn the fuel on. Give it 3 tickles. 1, 2, 3. Switch. It should run. I'm just going to move you so I can reach what I'm doing. Now I can mow the bloody lawn. That's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed that. Take good care of yourself. Enjoy your classic and I'll see you soon.